Hi everybody, Donna Salazar here for Gel Press, and today I have a video showing you what I do with the faith impressions outside of the Bible. I'm starting with the Amsterdam acrylic paint in deep gold, and though you can't see it, I'm using the long strip from the faith impressions set. It is sitting on top of another gel plate to hold it in place. And now I'm going to use some Royal Talens Gouche in light blue, and it has a very different texture to it, and so it creates a really big difference in the two colors when I take the stencil off. And I'm going to use some white paint. And this is the Royal Talens Art Creations in Titanium White. And I'm going to just go over the whole thing so that I can pull that up. And I'm using some Hammermill Laser Jet copy paper. It's a little bit thicker than your regular standard copy paper, and it's a lot softer too. Now, this is the only time that I flipped it over to see what it was doing, because it did not work. So it didn't mess it up, but I won't be doing that again. Then I put another layer of white to get the ghost print, and I'm getting a new piece of paper because I'm going to be going back and forth between the two sheets of paper with the ghost print and the first print, so that it gives a really cool contrast between each line. And I always have a side thing going, and I am pulling up some of that blue that is on there because I didn't want it to mix into the gold, because I'm adding a new layer of gold on. And I'm pulling up a new stencil. I really love damask. And now I'm using some gouache, and this is in burnt umber. I saw this really funny meme about how nobody knows how to cook umber, because you can either find it in raw umber or burnt umber, but there's no perfectly cooked umber out there. And I thought it was funny. But I really love how using two different mediums makes a really big difference in the way that the prints come out. So this is the first print, so I'll do it with the ghost print on the first one, and it's actually really easy to line up the strip. You can tell where it is. So that's the first print with the original ghost print. Now I'm going to do the ghost print on the sheet that had the original first print. And I'll just keep going back and forth like that. I really like it. Now I'm pulling up more of that side plate action. And it was not coming up, so I had to add a little more paint to it to reactivate it. And now it came up. And I want to get a little bit more of it because I'm going to be changing the color again. The reason why I have a side plate, look how cool that looks. The reason I have a side plate is because when you put dots of paint on to a print that you are really loving on your plate, and then you spread the paint out, you'll see that where you put those dots of paint, a lot of times it takes it up, and so you end up with these dots on this really cool print that you had, and I didn't like when that would happen. So now I'm back to the gouache. And then as soon as it moved, I was like, I'm not going to mess that up. So I decided not to go over it anymore. And if you're wondering, that tool that I've brought in a couple times that has the damask pattern on cardboard is actually a tool I made for a gel press video. So I'll put the link to that in the description of this video if you want to go check that out. So I'm just lining it up again. Again, it's super easy to line it up. I'm loving the way that it looks when I'm going back and forth between the original and ghost print. Now the ghost print. And there's that damask tool again. And I'm going to put this print into my little art journal that I pull out just to clean off the plate. And I'll get a ghost print too. And since there was no paint, I just went straight on right there. It wasn't going to end up with a big blob of nothing there. Ta-da! And I'm going to pull up more of that stuff. I love the grunge. Last pull. I love it. This is the last strip that I'm going to do on both of the prints. And this is a stencil from Carabelle Studio. And it's called Crochet Lace, but it's in French, and I'm not even going to attempt to say it in French. And I'm using the Gouche again in the burnt umber. Next time I'll try the perfectly cooked umber. Gonna get some white to pull the print. I highly suggest using this strip to do a print like this. This was a lot of fun, and you could probably do a ton of different techniques. This one was just kind of going back and forth, but I'm sure there's all different kinds of techniques that you could do on each different strip and make something that looks really crazy cool. And now the last ghost print. And all done. Now I'm going to work on the side plate a little bit. same thing that I did with the blue, gold, and white. And now I'll do the ghost print. Ta-da! I'm going to use a little bit more paint to get the last bit of the grunge off of the bottom. Very cool. So this is what the prints look like, but you'll notice there's like a scalloped edge because I used another of the plates, but I thought the camera was videotaping and it wasn't. And then this is that grunge sheet that I was picking up all the extras with. And here's a couple of the spreads in the art journal that end up having stuff added to them and look like this. Thanks so much for joining me. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the Gel Press YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time.